Okay, good evening. We are at 6:01, so I'm going to get us started. My name is Christian Jordan, and I am your principal here at Sherman. I'm actually going to unshare for 1 second so you can see a couple of us. Actually, I'll move on. You'll see me here in just a second. So I'm going to have each of our team members go next, and they are going to share just a little bit or just introduce themselves. And if you did want to share one thing, it is up to you. Just keep it brief so we can move through the night. Let's start. Mercy, you're over there on the left. Go ahead, Mercy. You're going to have to unmute. Mercy, you're still muted.
You guys, unmute me.
There you go. There you go.
Hello. Okay, good evening. Sorry. My name is Mercy Noonan. I recognize some faces there. Mrs. Norberg, hi. This is my 24th year teaching here at Sherman School. I completed my bachelor's degree at Wazoo, woo, the Cougars, and finished my master's degree at Lesley University, majoring in creative arts. I was born and raised in the Philippines with 3 sisters and 2 brothers, or 3 brothers, 2 sisters.
Awesome.
Hey.
Thank you, Mercy, for sharing.
Thank you.
Claudine, you're up.
I am Claudine Thompson, and this is my 5th year at Sherman, and I've been teaching for, this is my 26th year teaching. I've been throughout the district in multiple schools. I've taught from preschool all the way up to junior high. So kind of a variety, but kindergarten is my favorite grade, and I will not teach anything but kindergarten. I went to school in California and moved up here, and I have a kid in college and a kid who just graduated from college, and I guess that's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Claudine.
Yep.
Robin, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Robin Chester, and I'm new to kindergarten this year. I previously has been teaching 1st grade and have been teaching 30 plus years. And I came up from Oklahoma where I graduated, and just love the country up here and the people. And so I decided to stay. Anyway, I'm really enjoying teaching kindergarten this year.
All right. Thank you, Robin. And last up, Mr. Stanley, go ahead. Ron?
So I'm Ron Stanley, kindergarten teacher here at Sherman. Been teaching here kindergarten for 19 years. Live in the neighborhood. My daughter passed through the schools here in the neighborhood, as well as attending some Montessori schools. I really enjoy teaching in our present format with project-based learning and outdoor learning emphasized. So if you have questions on those things later, feel free to ask. And welcome to all of you who are new, and welcome back to all of you who I've seen over the years. So.
Perfect, thank you. And then Mrs. Zachmeyer, you're up.
Hi, I'm Zoe.
Oh, you got muted somehow, Zoe.
That was my hand having a little fun. I'm Zoe Zachmeyer, and I'm the instructional coach here at Sherman. I was previously a 4th grade teacher for several years here. And I have been teaching, 31 years. So I'm really enjoying working with all of the teachers and many of the students here. I get to work with them in small groups and work with teachers in the classroom. So welcome.
All right, thank you, Ms. Zachmeyer. All right, I'm going to put our PowerPoint up tonight. And I forgot to say at the beginning, if you didn't notice already, this meeting is being recorded because we're going to share it out on our website for other families who weren't able to make it tonight, so they can watch this at their convenience. So just please keep that in mind as we go. All right. So thank you. So here's a quick agenda for tonight. We're going to talk about our building a little bit, some academics, communication, volunteering, Beyond the Bell. That's our after school program. And then we'll have just a live Q&A session for you guys to answer or ask any questions and where everybody will chime in. So for ease of us going through here, it will be, I'll talk just a little bit more. Ms. Zachmeyer is going to talk about a few things, and then Ms. Thompson is actually, she was volunteered to do the academic slides. So she'll talk through you through that, but we'll all take questions at the end, and any of the 4 kindergarten team members can chime in as well at that point. All right. So here we go. Again, thanks for coming. And if you missed at the beginning, my name is Christian Jordan, and I am your principal. I also have 2 kids here at Sherman, a 2nd grader and a 4th grader this year. All right. Okay, Miss Zachmeyer, was that you? No.
That was me. Yes.
Yeah, that was you. Go ahead.
Okay, so just a little bit about Sherman and our school culture. So we are a STEAM school focusing on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And project-based learning is our driver. So all students learn their academics through answering driving questions. So some of the kindergarten questions have been, how do I become a friend, or what makes a good friend? And they learn math and science and often social studies through answering that question. And it gives students quite a lot of choice in how they learn, sometimes what they learn. We have, because of the tremendous community support that we've had over the years, this was something that the community wanted. They've generously funded a makerspace where students can go to engineer models, learn how to use tools, do art, all kinds of amazing things. We have a very young outdoor learning program. It's a couple of years old, where we have a community partnership with Sammy High School, and they let us borrow their bus and their bus driver, and we take field trips out into Point Defiance, different sites, to do our learning there. And we also have a big emphasis on social emotional learning that's kind of built into PBL, but also their different classes are really spending quite a bit of time on supporting students emotionally, especially through this time of pandemic, but that's a big part of our school culture. You want to move to the next slide?
Yes.
This is kind of a graphic to explain all the crazy moving parts that make up Sherman. You know, we are a STEAM community. We have a lot of partnerships. I mentioned the partnership with Sammy, but we have business partnerships within the community, university partnerships, community members that have come to do work with us and continue to help us out. You know, if you take a look at all of those cogs, there's a lot going on because project-based learning is rich, it's really involved, and there are many, many layers to the learning that happen here at Sherman. So I'm not going to read all of that for you, but it just kind of is, you know, a graphic that explains a little bit about who we are.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Zachmeyer. All right, Ms. Thompson, you are up.
On to academics. Well, we'll start off with literacy. We, as a kindergarten program, we focus on the state standards, and we hit all of the areas in literacy on those standards. And as we do it, we focus on, as Mrs. Zachmeyer said, the lens of PBL. And so we will work on some of the basics, reading foundation skills, letters, names, sounds, CVC words, and then a lot of our writing tends to focus on what our PBL is. And if we're doing like a friendship PBL, we might practice writing letters to friends, or we might practice writing a story between 2 animals that are friends. And so it just kind of gives us a focus to work on all those basic skills. We do writing in fiction, nonfiction, in addition to focusing on blending words and then also working on sight words. And we do a great job of getting all the kids excited, and there's towards the end of the year, there's a competition of sight words and who can read the most. And it's a real motivator for the kids, and they seem to really enjoy it and they learn a lot from it. And math. We also teach all of the same the standards from the state in math as we do it through our PBL lens. We work on counting and cardinality. We work on shapes, team numbers, adding and subtracting. And then we also use the base 10 blocks to do place value. And we also do some graphing and extracting data from those graphs. And we will do it all, like I said, through the PBL lens. And so we might do, if we're doing a PBL on friendship, we will, like the kids will do a graph. They might come up with a question and survey all their friends and then make a graph about that information. And then you can even add writing about what they find out in those graphs. Ron, did you want to add anything about the math?
I would just add that we recognize in our neighborhood that we have kids who are fortunate enough to have attended formal preschools. And so the state standards and the national standards are for kindergartners to count by ones and tens, but we'll add additional work so that those kids who have already mastered that work can practice going beyond and learning to count by fives and count by twos. And we'll advance the numbers into using the base 10 model and some other base 10 and Montessori equipment so that kids can have an understanding of numbers to 4 digits with concrete models for them to use for that. So we make sure to try to hit all the kids where they are when they come in with their, some kids come in with higher abilities, and we want to make sure to keep them challenged as well through our PBL model. So.
Yes, thank you. Next, science, engineering, and technology. We kind of lumped all those in together. There's also art in there as part of our STEAM focus. Some of the things that we focus on in kindergarten, and it kind of depends. Our PBLs are kind of science-based sometimes, and sometimes they're not. And so sometimes the PBL might be the science unit, and sometimes it might be a social studies unit. But some of the science ones that we have focused on in the past recently are looking at plants and animals, especially trees. As we're getting into the outdoor learning at Point Defiance, that's always a great focus for us when we're out exploring, you know, the world around us. We look at weather patterns. We do some force and motion, and we will also create some simple machines from that with levers and pulleys and some different things like that. We are now a one-to-one school district for technology, and so we have been utilizing laptops in the classroom and also iPads, but laptops are like the newest thing that we have, and the kids bring them once a week and we use them in class. If you have any older kids, then you know that they're bringing them, I think, daily, but we're just doing 1 day a week at this point. And we also learn, as we mentioned before, in the makerspace, there's tools for building, creating, doing some engineering projects, art projects. And also, not in this picture, but in one of the other pictures there, we, the kindergartners have some garden beds out that we plant in the spring. And we, it's always a great activity for them to watch their seeds that they plant grow. And then we get to eat salad in the spring when it's all ready to harvest. That's kind of fun. I talked about outdoor learning, garden beds. Anything else that you can think of, Ron? Or Mercy or Robin? No? Okay. I think that's good.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Thompson. As far as school communication you'll get communication from our building wide communication from me and or Sarah or Michelle in the office. But also obviously your teachers will provide that too. If you're new to public school, you'll get regular emails from your teachers and sometimes calls too. As far as my communication about the school, I try to put out an email every week and a phone call, so you'll get a recorded message usually on Sundays. I'm sure a couple of the parents out there can tell you they come at 4 o'clock, right in the middle of a Seahawks game. If you're watching a Seahawks game, it's always right at the end. Ron loves the Seahawks, by the way, so make sure you get him lots of Seahawks gear if you have him. Anyway, you'll get those from me on a regular basis. We use Schoology too in our classrooms. Kinder is just getting into those pieces, but at the older grades more so. There's our family app, if you're not familiar with that. It has been added. There's been a lot of things added this year. I'll get to that in a little bit. We have a fantastic PTSA. So if you are new to us this year, make sure that when you start here in the fall, and in the summer that you're getting connected with our PTSA because they really support all of our teachers. All of them can speak to how much the PTSA supports the work here of STEAM and PBL at our building. So great organization to be part of. And then Peach Jar, if you're new, that's just a way that lots of different information gets to you via email. It's flyers and things that come via email from school stuff, but most of it through Peach Jars, through outside organizations that would like to send information. Okay, that's a little bit about our communication. I want to talk to you about volunteering because especially new families, they always ask about volunteering. So our kinder team is really good about if they need a volunteer, they'll reach out and ask for them specifically. It could be for, say, an outdoor learning field trip, help with a project that they're working on. Maybe it's more of an art one that needs a little bit, a few more bodies in there to help out. But if you do that, we have a system right here through the office. And once you get registered here, if you're new, you can ask in the front office and they'll get you into that. So there's a background check that has to be passed. And then also right now, a vaccination for COVID-19 is a requirement for volunteering. Let's see. Let's go on to the next slide here. We're almost done and then we'll take Q&A. Beyond the Bell. That is a new program that is district-wide this year in Tacoma Public Schools. We're still figuring some things out about that, but if you don't have a kid in there this year or you're brand new, it is you can register for different programs. We're hoping to expand our programming. Currently, we have sports, so whatever the fall, winter sports are. They just started basketball right now for winter because it's cold, so it's an indoor one. Basketball started, and you can sign up kids for different grade levels on that. We also have a Bricks for Kids, which is like Lego building, that is here a couple nights a week. We're looking to expand it, and parents actually can be part of this if you're interested. I have a parent who's going to do a photography one in the spring, potentially this year. So looking forward to that. It's pay what you choose. You sign up through our family app, and if you can pay, you pay. If you don't, that's okay too. So we have a couple of different sessions throughout the year of Beyond the Bell. And almost done. We got 2 more slides here. Just a little bit about enrollment because I'm guessing some of our guests here tonight may not be from our boundaries at Sherman, but if you're interested in Sherman or any other building that you're interested in, you can fill out a choice application if it's not your neighborhood school. And those are due by March 18th. I would suggest if you're interested in any building that you want to apply to fill those out as soon as possible because it is a first come, first serve. And then if you're outside of TPS, outside of Tacoma Public Schools, and you're here tonight, you can talk to me later. And I'm more than happy to talk with you about that process. It's a little bit more in depth. All right, so I'm going to quit sharing. We are through with our slides, and now we're here to take your questions live, and either Mrs. Noonan, Mrs. Chester, Mrs. Thompson, or Mr. Stanley can answer, or Ms. Sackmeyer too. I may answer some as well. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing here. If it'll let me.
So actually, Christian, while you still have that up, I mind speaking to some of the photos that are in the
Sure.
pictures? So if we just go back and focus more on some of the photos, we're going to see, so for example, in this photo right here, you'll see 2 kindergarten classrooms sitting on a log, taking a break during one of our many field trips to Point Defiance for outdoor learning. And when we speak about taking field trips, we're not talking about one a year. We try to go monthly, and depending on buses and, of course, pandemic restrictions. So we're talking about multiple trips to have in-depth outdoor learning. So that was a fun thing about that trip right there. And if you want to go to the next slide, we'll kind of, these are some classroom participations. The larger picture in the bottom left-hand corner is our Makerspace assistant, Miss Ross, who's a professional artist and does all sorts of art programs and things with the kids in the Makerspace. And then we have kids doing in that gardening. You can see kids studying a huge tree sample. Those were leaf pressings in clay. And then the bottom right-hand corner, we actually do glass fusion. So our Makerspace has the ability to do art through glass fusion. And we've done a number of glass fusion projects with kids. Maybe go to the next slide. Obviously, some of the basics that you would expect in academics and learning, reading and whatnot. Mathematics, those are kids using base 10 blocks to do counting with. And if you're not familiar with base 10 blocks, they're units cubes, 6 of 10, 100 squares, and thousands cubes. And that's how we teach the place value. Next. This is outdoors in our own schoolyard. So our schoolyard has a number of natural settings, murals, a rain garden for scientific and plant learning, and then also planting gardens that we do vegetables in.
That one's the pollinator garden.
Pollinator garden out front, yep. And then you see a boy there with hammering. So when we talk about Makerspace, we're talking about kids being able to use hammers, drills, saws, measuring tapes, and we've done all kinds of cool projects in there. I think the next slide has some examples. So in this slide, I like instead of volunteering, I think our thing should maybe say more like parent participating, because the parents come and have fun with us. In the top picture, we were building birdhouses to go along with a unit on making and keeping natural spaces for animals. And then the bottom picture was, again, the glass fusion. So we have all kinds of opportunities for parents to participate in their children's learning as allowed with that. And then that's the garden. And so you can see there an example of, we plant the gardens and then the kids keep journals. So they might be keeping a journal about watering, measuring the plants, how many seeds sprouted, and it becomes all the more meaningful when those plants turn into a vegetable garden that we can harvest and eat a salad out of. And yes, I can assure you that your non-vegetable eating kindergartner will enjoy a yummy salad at the end of the year. Something about them planting it, caring for it, and harvesting it changes a lot of food attitudes. So thank you, Mr. Jordan, for flashing back